Good evening, everybody, and welcome back. I'm Dave. I've been with Naturetrek since 2019, and since that time, I'm coming up to my 30th tour to various places: Scotland, France, Iceland, the Gambia, and the subject of tonight's talk, which is St Lucia. When I'm not away on tours, I volunteer for my local wildlife trust, and it's doing maintenance work and wardening, etc. So tonight then, St Lucia, where is it? Well, it's not too far away from Guyana, from Tom's talk. There it is with the little red flag there. The Caribbean Sea on one side and the Atlantic Ocean on the other. We fly into the airport down here in Vieux-Fort and make our way across to Anse on the Caribbean side, which takes about an hour and a quarter. And from there, we have daily excursions exploring quite a bit of the island. We go as far north up as Castries on one day, and we go there by boat. And another day we venture out to the Quiles Forest Reserve, and also we go to the Rainforest Adventures, St Lucia up there. So it's fairly compact, small island. It doesn't boast the number of species that we've heard of from the other places, Brazil and Guyana. In fact, the one benefit of that is, as there's only 5 endemic species, we don't take too long doing the checklist at night, and you will remember what you've seen. Now, there's 2 books which I would recommend. If you have you've been to that area, you've probably already got this big one here. But there's another book that was brought out last year, 2022. Specifically Birds of the Lesser Antilles, and I find it's a fantastic little field guide. It's really easy to manage, lovely photos in there as well. So that would be ideal if you were just thinking of going there on one of our holidays. So if we leave the airport and drive the hour and a quarter to Anse, and the pitons are never far out of view. There are these 2 extinct volcanoes there that the Soufriere is in the shadow of these volcanoes. This is the view from the resort, the award-winning Anse resort, and one of the bedrooms there. And that's the inside of one of the bedrooms, just for Claire's benefit. And this is the lounge area, where we tend to meet up, maybe have a drink or a soft drink in the afternoon, and also in the evening before we go for dinner, if it's still light, although normally it is getting a little bit dark by the time we eat. I'll just go back to that previous slide. You can see the mirror just in the corner there, and this carib grackle was displaying to itself while we were there. That's a very common bird that you'll be familiar with within a very short time of being in St Lucia and in Anse. And also another very common bird, Lesser Antillean bullfinch. This is the male. They can be very approachable. And here's one at the breakfast table. You really have to guard your breakfast if you walk away to get replenishments. And they're the first birds that come down if there's any leftovers. Another bird very common around the reserves, in fact throughout the region, banana quit. This differs from the banana quits that was in Tom's slide, in as much as it has a white throat. In fact, there are 41 recognized subspecies of banana quit. One of them in particular is wholly black. So this is the St Lucia subspecies. Also a common bird around the area is a grey kingbird. See them in most places, a very widespread, quite a large flycatcher with this big chunky bill. And one of my favourite birds of St Lucia, the grey trembler. They so called because they have these wings that they quiver, and seem quite a nervous bird, but they're very approachable as well. This one was taken from my balcony one afternoon. Now, on the first day there, we have a gentle walk down to the beach, Chastenay Beach, and then across to Anse-Marmin Beach with Menno, who calls himself Mr. Nature, and he gives us all the tales about all the herbs and flowers and everything his nan used to use to cure all ills before medication. And he's a very, very interesting character and very good value. One of the first endemics you might encounter is St Lucia oriole. If there are any fruity mangoes, these are attracted to those, and you might even be lucky to have one land on your balcony, as one of our guests did just last month when we were there. And also, this is quite widespread, Lesser Antillean Saltator. This photo taken from Sandra last month. And it reminds me a little bit of a bulbul, around about the similar size, greenish coloration. And this one's munching away on leaves, which I've been known to do from time to time as well. We must have quite a strong constitution. This is the beach just at the end of Chastenay, coming up to Anse-Marmin, and you can see the pier here and these trees overhanging there, which is where this osprey was drying its wings. And the pier, you might be lucky to see a belted kingfisher. They patrol from that area, quite often seen swimming across the sea. And you're never far away from a brown pelican either. According to the boatmen, brown pelicans were rarely seen in the area, but they've moved in and they nest along the cliffs there now, no doubt following the fish shoals, which is what these chaps are doing. You might even find them pulling out your lunch. Spotted sandpiper, the North American equivalent of our common sandpiper. This one just coming into spots. And here is carrying a weevil, which was a bit of a packed lunch for it as well, I think, poor thing. Little blue heron, they're very approachable, another North American bird. It was spent the winter months down in St Lucia. Anyone into photography, you should get reasonable shots of this species, and maybe the next one as well. Yellow-crowned night heron with that gorgeous orangey red eye, just concentrating on finding its next crab meal. Excuse me. Excuse me. Green heron also, less likely to be seen out on the beach, but this one was taken just inside the woodland, as was this St Lucia peewee, another endemic. There's a nice shot here by Shirley on the trip last month. She did well to get the shot because St Lucia warblers very rarely sit still. Mangrove cuckoo, they're not particularly rare in the area. Good to see, quite often amongst the leaves. And it's one of the cuckoos that make its own nest and rear its own young, unlike our common cuckoo. As we walk up through the woodland, we come to the reservoir. This used to feed the sugar plantation, but it's an open area now and it's really good for butterflies. The white peacock, Gulf fritillary, Hanno blue, and this strange looking creature, long-tailed skipper, Caribbean buckeye. A little yellow, as the name suggests, it's about the same size as our common blue. White-tipped black moth, they're a day-flying moth, not too dissimilar to our chimney sweeper moths that you get in the UK. And frangipani moth caterpillar, showing all the signs to any predators, don't eat me. And any grassland area, you could find katydids and grasshoppers if insects are your thing. And looking up where there are no trees, where you get a good vista, you're likely to see broad-winged hawk. It's a smallish buzzard. You see the compact size of this one. So we've had a morning walk back to the beach restaurant, have time to freshen up for lunch or deciding what you want to do for the afternoon. Choice of menu. There's various options for the afternoons. There's scuba diving, snorkeling. There's a gym and also yoga. Or if you did want to go back up to Ansmamen on another day, you can take the water taxi and just tell them what time you want picking up and they'll oblige. This snorkeling, as I mentioned, Sandra took these shots last month while we were there. Another day we go out dolphin and whale watching. We pass Soufriya Bay on the way to a bat cave where the captain manoeuvres his boat round very skillfully so we can see into the cave. The birds that we're likely to be seeing there, magnificent frigate bird and brown booby, very common daily birds. And that's really what we're looking for, pan-tropical spotted or spinner or Fraser's dolphins. And this year we were lucky to see dwarf and pygmy sperm whale. And if you're really lucky, red-billed tropic bird might follow the boat. So we're coming back from the morning out and getting ready for a beach landing. So shoes and socks off. I can't always get up to the jetty to disembark. Another day we go to a rainforest, Descartier Trail, where there's some very special birds there. Green-throated carob, it's possible to see these in the hotel grounds. Also Antillean crested hummingbird, they're quite well spread. And St Lucia blackfinch, another endemic. There's several places we can find them, including around Ansmamen. One of the special birds of the area, rufous-throated solitaire, this gorgeous thrush-sized bird with a lovely song that I'm not going to attempt. That was my plan. And St Lucia parrot, which is the main reason for coming to this particular trail. That's possibly the best shot that I've got of one. You can hear them coming, and you have to be fairly quick before they disappear back into the forest. White-breasted thrasher is a special bird of this area, not in the trail, the Cartier Trail. That tends to be more wet forest. These prefer drier forests, and they're found on the east side. In fact, there's two populations, one in St Lucia that holds about 80% of the world's population, and Martinique, which holds the other 20%. There's thoughts that they might be separate species as well, but very, very difficult to see, and elusive birds. The other rainforest trail we go to on another day is the Millet Bird Sanctuary, where they started putting out coconuts in 2010 after the hurricane, and that brought out some of the birds out from the forest. We've already seen grey trembler. They're quite easy to see around the hotel area. And also, if we haven't seen blackfinch, then there's a very good chance to see them here. Another day we go up to Castries. It's about an hour's cruise along the coast. While we're waiting for the boat to come in, we're quite entertained by these Sally Lightfoot crabs just below the restaurant there, fighting each other over territory on this tiny piece of rock. Rainforest Adventures. I think the boast about the species you're likely to see there is slightly overstated. There is, I suppose, there's an off chance of seeing St Lucia parrot, but the blue and gold macaw, I think that's an exaggeration. I wouldn't hold your breath on that one. But it's a fantastic view, and it gives you an idea of the vista from up, and very quiet in these toboggans above the trees. The third hummingbird we're likely to see on the trip, purple-throated carib. This photo was taken there. And also banana quit. There's many flowers in the gardens below the trams, the aerial trams. That can make a nice photo, easy to photo there. Coming back then, the pitons are not too far away in the distance. And if you're lucky, we will have lunch on the boat. And if you're lucky, we might be offered a piton beer before we get to our destination. Sulphur Springs is where we go on another day. This is hailed as the world's only drive-in volcano, and you can smell it before you get there. This area is also very good for birds, actually. The guides show us around the volcano, and we're off looking at other things, more interested in what's going on in the trees than the steaming vents. But that's tied in with a trip to the Emerald Organic Farm, which is the supplier of the hotel, and organic as it says there. And there's flower beds which are brimming with butterflies, and also birds as we're being shown around. Very interesting talk. We get to taste various pods that are growing on the trees, like cocoa and coffee. And they use all of everything that's grown on there is used in the hotels. They don't compete with surrounding farms. So if you see St Lucia bananas in your local supermarket, they haven't come from Emerald Farm. But they do star fruit. This was a nice shot taken by Shirley of Antillean crested hummingbird low down on the flowers while we were the chefs were preparing our meals. In the meantime, this American kestrel had already cooked its meal. There's two adult lizards there, and I struggle to identify them even when I can see the head, so I'm not even going to attempt on that one. But there's Chef Elijah and Salvatore. They treat us to a fantastic cooking demonstration as Elijah making a vegan meal there. And Salvatore, not making a vegan meal. The site is almost as good as it tastes, so believe you me. And you might be treated to one of their local craft ales. I've not plucked up the courage to ask for this at the bar, this one. And there they are, accepting their round of applause. So we're going back to Soufrière, up to the hotel. A few more slides before we finish off. These are birds that can be seen around the hotel gardens. This was taken from the restaurant in the morning, a little shower of rain, and then it came down to drink from the gutter, scaly-nape pigeon. There's an eider dove, really got to see these close up. They're beautiful little doves, often overlooked. And St Lucia house wren, I put that in brackets there because that's been spoken about to a possible split and given full status, but bearing in mind what I said about the 41 subspecies of banana quits, I think there's a long time coming with that. So St Lucia, let her inspire you, and thank you for watching and bearing with me through my ticky throat.